So you are riding a scooter at 10 meters per second in a direction 40 degrees north of west. A coordinate system is established with a positive x-axis to the east and positive y-axis to the north. Write the velocity in terms of components and vectors. So from the diagram, you can see that it's a right triangle, so we can use trig functions in order to find the components for north and east. So you can do sine of theta will equal to the opposite over hypotenuse, and the opposite given is the north, and the hypotenuse will be 10 meters per second. And if we solve, you get 10 sine theta, which is 40 degrees, will be equal to your north. And you can do the same thing for the east, but instead we'll be using cosine because it's adjacent, so it'll be cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Again, your hypotenuse is 10, and then your adjacent would be the east component. So cosine and then once you plug it into your calculator, you get 6.43 meters per second for the north, and then you get negative 7.66 meters per second east, which makes sense because it's going west, so negative east would equal west. And then in order to put these into component form, you just add I hat and J hat, so it would be 6.43 J hat plus or minus 7.66 I hat. And then I hat is used for the x coordinate, and then J hat is used for the y coordinate.
Alright, so the next part we got, after 15 seconds, how far east have you gone? So looking at this, how far east, we can use the last question to kind of answer this question. Since we got negative 0.66 meters going east, we can use that and just multiply it by 15 seconds here. So 7. 66 times 15 seconds, and we're doing this because if you're going 7.66 meters in 1 second and you multiply that 15, and when you multiply that you get 115 meters. And unit conversions, we have velocity over here, which is meters per second times second, and the s's cancel out, seconds over seconds, and you end up with meters, which is asking how far east have you gone. Now this is negative since we were going west in this direction, showing here, and it's asking how far east. Since it's asking how far east and we're going west, it has to be a negative number. And go.
So part C is how far north in the same 15 seconds, and it's going to be the same as what we did for how far east. We got 6.43 meters per second to the north, so we're going to use that for our velocity. And then we have the 15 seconds, which is the time. And basically that's just what I'm doing is I'm doing velocity over, or times the time, gives you the distance. So when you do the 6.43 times 15 seconds, you get 96.5 meters. And just to go over, you got the meters over seconds times the second, so the seconds cancel out, and it's positive because you're traveling in the north direction.
2, 3, go.
Alright, so the final question is asking how far are you from where you started, and essentially that's asking the length of the diagonal. And the way we can find that is using Pythagorean theorems, using the other two values of distance we found earlier. So we can do a squared plus b squared, and the root of that will be equal to c, which is our value. So we can plug in those two. So 96.5 squared plus 115,
negative 115 squared will equal RC.
And if you plug that into your calculator, you get 100